Hi everyone, it's CricketSong with Lunar Wisdom, and I am here in this video to talk about the croning I've gone through, or the transition into cronehood that I've experienced. Because in my last video, I talked about why I haven't been on and uploading content for like the past 6 months, and going through transitions has been what I've been going through actually since 2018, when we relocated from Massachusetts here to Washington State. My transitions really started even prior to that, but the actual physical moving from one part of the United States to a different part of the United States really was the physical manifestation of a transition that was going on internally with me, along with my physical body going through a transition. So I'm going to be talking about menopause and periods and all that stuff. So if you find that that's just TMI, then just be aware that I'm going to be discussing this a little bit. So if it makes you uncomfortable, I would suggest you don't watch it. Watch that part of it and skip ahead if you want. I would like to also say that She Who Walks Between the Worlds, Drew, has done a video about menopause, and I'm going to put the link to that video in the information section of this video, because it's a great video that she discusses some, things surrounding her experience with premenopause and menopause. And when I watched that video, I found myself agreeing with a lot of the points that she made. So I would really encourage you to watch that. So as I was dealing with the internal energetic transition that was going on with me, there was the physical, the actual going through menopause, and then the physical in actually relocating to another part of the United States. A lot of it was very overwhelming. And the change, the leaving things behind, my family, my friends, and coming to another part of the country with my husband and my 2 children. As much as I had them here, I didn't have a sense of community. And for me, that was a very disturbing and unsettling circumstance to find myself in, along with the idea that my witchcraft had already been going through a transition. And I feel like, this transition gradually happened. It wasn't just one thing all of a sudden. It was a gradual, the dissolution of the coven that I was part of, my matron and patron sort of phasing out of my witchcraft, leaving my family and friends, my business, my Lunar Wisdom business. I left a lot of my clients back in Massachusetts, and I haven't really reestablished myself here in Washington. So almost like my business stopping. So many things happened, and it was, again, very unsettling. I felt very ungrounded. I was uprooted, and I was struggling to reroot myself. With the physical aspects of my body, the hormone changes, not having a period, not going through PMS, the hormone levels falling within my body, and I found myself, with hot flashes and just moodiness. It was difficult. And then even during this, we weren't here very long before then the pandemic happened, and that sort of being My husband starting to work from home every day, being here 24/7, my daughter graduating high school and then looking for a job. A lot of the home dynamics, the energy within our family was shifting. The energy of the land was very different, and my personal energy was different. I really found myself struggling, emotionally struggling, mentally struggling, and physically struggling. When the pandemic hit, that really uprooted a lot of feelings I had, and I honestly fell into a depression. Yeah, it was hopelessness. It was really deep hopelessness. I had no community, no sense of community. I had no family around here, no real friends around here, or physical friends. I had online friends, but even some of my online friends, their life started getting busy and they couldn't connect with me as frequently as they had before. So I was feeling very, very depressed, very hopeless, which was also triggered, the depression was triggered by the hormonal changes happening. There was so much to deal with. Childhood trauma came bubbling up, old things, old wounds that I thought I had dealt with. It became evident that I hadn't really dealt with them. So there was so much going on. And looking back now, where now I'm very grounded, I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling very solid and rooted, even though some of the things haven't changed, meaning that my husband still works from home. My daughter has a job now, a job she's pretty happy with. My son has a new job. We're still here in Washington in the home that we began renting when we moved here. I still don't have a lot of in-person friends, and I've made a few new online friends. So I have some sense of community, but honestly, I feel like I'm definitely centered, and rooted in my own new witchcraft, even though it's still my witchcraft. It's sort of like a new phase or a new manifestation or a new improved witchcraft. A part of this whole transition was, not having a matron and patron and really embracing the primordial feminine and masculine energies. As I sort of transitioned into that sort of sense, I had experiences before I moved from Massachusetts. I was still in Massachusetts when I began experiencing it. And when I first moved here, I was having these visions during meditation, dreams, and experiences with an entity that I labeled the hag. It was definitely a crone. It was a dark. It's the hag. The hag. That's how she presented herself to me. The hag. The visions and the energy that I was experiencing, not really working with, because I really felt as if I was fighting these energies. So I don't feel like I was working with, I was more fighting against these energies. Really brought up the old trauma, sort of forced me to face my shit and to work through it, to actually face it and sort of heal from it and deal with it, which clearly I needed, but it was so much happening all of a sudden. But I feel like for me, it had to happen that way, because if it was only little things, it would have been easy for me to deny and to sort of shove to the side the different aspects of what I needed to handle in order to come out the other end. So I wouldn't change how it went because of where I am now, if that makes sense. So some of you who watched my last video wanted to know how this sort of embracing the crone aspect of myself, how it's manifested in my witchcraft, or how has it physically changed my witchcraft. I have found that I didn't really do a lot of spell working for other people, but a lot of the actual practice of my witchcraft is really focused on me right now. It's focused on, my spell working and energy, and everything that I would do is really focused on me facing what I need to face and healing what needs to be healed. And if there are any other things or situations I need to appear in my life, then that's where my magic is focused on. It's really focused on me. So protection is still, protection for the home that I live in, protection for the vehicles that I drive. It's, protection for me when I am, journeying, or when I am sleeping, or when I need to go into meditation and really deal with my shit. It's all focused on me. It's what I need, and that's sort of where I find my witchcraft. It's not ritualistic in any sense anymore. I really don't have rituals surrounding my practice, where before I was very ritualistic. Now it's not. It's really focused on working with the environment that I live in, working with the spirits that inhabit the land, working with the forces of nature surrounding me, and manifesting sometimes just synchronicities, sometimes just, if I need a little extra cash, doing a spell to bring in, the handful of clients I still have. It's really just focused on what I need right now. That's a big change, other than not working with a god or goddess, specific god or goddess, and really working with this crone, this hag energy, really working to uncover the shadows or the wounds that I'm holding within me that really need to be addressed, and really healing from it, learning to surrender to it. And that's a big part of what has happened. Surrendering to the energies that are around me instead of fighting them, just embracing the pain, embracing what it was that hurt, and not denying the hurt, not covering it up, but really embracing it and working through it. My magic, someone asked, did my magic change since I became a crone? My magic is less altruistic and very much about me. My magic is about me. A lot of my magic, again, is dealing with myself and really sort of looking at who the true self is within me, and not this self that I've been projecting, and surrendering to it, not fighting it, just surrendering into the energy. sort of, yeah, giving into it and allowing that to reveal what I've been keeping hidden from not only others, but really from myself. It's really a time to know myself and to, I guess, face these things that I've been afraid to face, or have, yeah, on some level been afraid to face because of XYZ, whatever it is. Really doing a lot of work, uncovering what needs to be healed, and then healing from that. Because Crone represents the end, sort of the end of a cycle, death, physical death, like energetic death, or the death of a particular cycle. Like I said, I feel like it's been a gradual shift. So it's been a gradual croning, the things ending in order to make way for this new phase, and understanding that sort of this is the end, and really embracing the idea that at some point, death is beyond. And I really feel like the beginning of all this happened with the death of Erin, my dearest friend, I know I've spoken about her before. Her and my paternal grandmother are the two spirits my beloved dead that I work with. And they are the only two I work with right now. And they are here to really help me heal from childhood trauma and really embrace the inevitability of my physical death. And I feel like Erin's death was the beginning of this transition for me, along with the dissolution of the coven, the death of the coven. I won't be having any babies anymore, for sure. Even if there was the thought that I might, that's not a possibility for me anymore, at least having physical children. And my children are basically, they're adults. My daughter's 19, my son is 24. They are starting their own lives, and they don't really need me anymore. So it's just facing all these changes, and my magic has, sort of reflected those things. I don't know if I was clear with that. Is anything speaking or shouting out to me? That surrender is basically what has come up with. Surrender to the powers around me, the natural environment, the natural forces that are here. Surrender to change. This doesn't mean not having personal boundaries, but part of the surrendering, at least for me, is part of that. Surrendering to my own desires, my own, things that I want. Surrendering to that and not sort of putting that on hold. Surrendering to change. Surrendering to the idea that nothing is forever, right? That's a big part of it for me. I guess that's all I really have to say. If you have questions in regards to this, please feel free to ask, and keep your eyes open for the next video. Much love to you all. Blessed be.